What's up guys, Rui here and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a very long awaited one, and I do have to apologize for it taking this long to complete, but from the time I received the pants to me wanting to field test it for a while all the way to me getting sick for the past week or so, the timing was just overall really bad, but finally here we are. As the title suggests, for today's video we will be diving in and checking out one of ACRONYM's most popular silhouettes, the P30A in the E variation. We will also be taking a look at the differences between the E variation as well as the DS and kind of compare them to see which is better or just what are the differences. There is going to be quite a lot to cover for today's video, so grab yourself some snacks and beverages, sit back and relax, and hopefully you will enjoy today's video. But before we continue to dive further into today's video, it would be very much appreciated if you go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below if you are new to the channel or just haven't been subscribed yet, as it really does help the channel out a long way. Also, if you guys are feeling generous and want to help support the channel in a much bigger way, I do have a Patreon page whereby I've only set up to be $1 a month, and all of it will go into helping me to pick up new filming equipment so that I can continue to improve the qualities of the videos for you all, as well as helping to keep the lights on this channel. Now, one good part about having to delay this video is that I am able to field test this pair of pants a bunch of times, and by that I truly mean a bunch. If you have gone out with me for the past 2 months or so, 90% of the time you will probably see me wearing this pair of pants, and it's not just because I have to do it for the video, but truly this is my all-time favorite pair of pants and I just really enjoy wearing it so much. In my opinion, besides the super iconic J1A jacket, which was one of the very first few pieces that ACRONYM released, the P30 is probably one of the other most iconic silhouettes from the brand. Now, the P30A, which the A stands for advanced, is the upgraded version of the P30. While the P30 has a crop length, the P30A introduces removable leg cuffs, giving it the ability to transform into a full-length pants if needed, making it suitable to be worn year-round. For the Fall/Winter 21-22 release, the P30A came in 3 different colorways, which features the classic black and alpha green alongside a navy colorway, which I do believe it is the first time the P30A was released in this color. But as per usual, I just stick with the black simply because I know that this is a pair that I will want to be wearing a ton. Therefore, black just makes it very easy to mix and match in general. So how's it held up after 2 months of rigorous usage, and what are my thoughts about it? Now, in the grand timeline, 2 months doesn't seem like much considering that a lot of ACRONYM pieces are said to be able to last over 10+ years, but I do think I have used it enough of times to be very familiar with the piece. And spoilers alert, this is by far the best pair of pants that I've ever worn, and it's been holding up so incredibly well. The overall fit of the P30A is classified as ultra wide, and it does have a very baggy and drapey look towards it, with pretty similar characteristics towards a harem pants with the drop crotch design. Being heavily influenced by Arison's interest and involvement in martial arts since his younger years, you do get to see some of the inspiration behind the design, such as how there is this insane freedom of mobility that allows you to basically perform any movement without feeling like you are being restricted. This just translates into a piece that is very comfortable to wear on a daily basis, and visually I just think it works so incredibly well within the whole techwear spectrum, as it gives out this very futuristic dystopic look. When it comes to how it fits in general, the sizing is something a little bit unconventional, and I would say you do want to take a few minutes to measure out your correct measurements. Because the P30A has a super wide silhouette, it's only natural that it will have a very large waistline due to how it needs to be constructed, and for most people when it's fully expanded, it's going to be way too large. Thankfully, you can adjust the waist size quite a bit with the integrated fully adjustable waistband, and on the side it shows all the different waist sizes that it will accommodate. For example, the size S will go down to a minimum of a size 30, while the size M will fit a minimum of a size 32 and upwards. However, having the opportunity to try both the M and S size, there is some leeway as I am a true size 30, and while I did pick the size S, I found that the M fitted me as well, which makes me believe that all these sizes will be able to accommodate 1 to 2 sizes down. That is why for the P30A, it's much more important to focus on the overall length of the pants rather than the waist size. One very good example on why you should prioritize the overall length rather than the waist size here is with the product's images of the P30A-E taken by Ants Clothing. As you can see here, the pants are just way too short on the model, and without the additional cuffs, it looks more like a pair of shorts here. One thing that ACRONYM does differently compared to a lot of the other high-end luxury brands is that they do re-release a lot of their pre-existing models, but just in different fabric choices as well as potential minor upgrades. Earlier this year, they released the P30A but in the dry skin, or better known as the DS variation, and thankfully I do have a pair in hand so that we could take a look and compare it with the encapsulated nylon or the E variation that I picked up. So major shout out to Gavin for lending me his pair, because without him, this whole kind of comparison portion would not be possible. Although they both have pretty similar basic properties, how they function is a little bit different. Now, I'm not going to dive too deeply into the science behind the fabric technology, but I'm just going to be talking it based on an everyday application and just how it works in general. A quick rundown about Schkoller Dry Skin, more specifically 3X Dry, which is the fabric technology found on the P30A-DS. It's a finishing technology that provides a fabric water repellency on the outer surface to keep liquids away from the outside environment, whether it be due to weather conditions or just accidental splashes, while on the inside, where it's in contact with the body, it's highly absorbent. The idea behind it is when perspiration does happen, it's able to be quickly absorbed and evaporated, which through this process, it also does assist in the cooling process of the body. Which is why, in my opinion, the P30A-DS is the best for summertime, or if you just live in a hotter climate country like myself, as it has a lot of functionality that will help out during a hot day that regular fabrics just won't do. Pair this up with how wide and airy the P30A silhouette is, there is plenty of air ventilation to keep your body feeling much cooler. Besides the 3X Dry feature, one of the main advantages of dry skin is really how extremely comfortable it is. Being a 4-way stretch fabric, it is super comfortable to move around in, and although the silhouette of the P30A itself is already very non-restrictive, I did find that the dry skin fabric was actually more comfortable to wear compared to the encapsulated nylon. It also feels more softer and gentle to the touch. On the other hand, I feel that encapsulated nylon is a fabric technology that not many people talk about compared to dry skin. At least for me, I wasn't even aware about what it is until I picked up the P30A-E. At first, I just thought it was a cool marketing term being thrown around, but there is actually quite a bit going on with it. So what is encapsulated nylon? From the reading that I managed to find on their site, it's a type of fabric technology that is developed by Nextag called Epic Silicon Encapsulation. Essentially, unlike any lamination process or coating such as DWR, this is a technology that, just as its name suggests, encapsulates the very fibers of the fabric, giving it all the weatherproof features such as water resistant and windproof without sacrificing breathability. Supposedly, this is a much more permanent application as it places an ultra thin polymer around the individual woven fabric fibers, and given proper care and regular washing, they claim that the fabric performance will last a lifetime, which, unlike DWR treatment whereby the performance will start to deteriorate as time goes on due to the treatment wearing off after each wash, and you will most certainly have to reapply it to maintain its performance. Now that we have a better understanding behind the technology of both fabrics, can you guys tell apart which is the DS and which is the E version? Pause the video, don't cheat, and leave your answer down below in the comment section, and let's see how many of you got it right. The right side is encapsulated nylon while the left side is Schkoller Dry Skin. In terms of overall construction, design, and fitting, they are exactly identical, but because of the nature of the fabric, it does changes how the pants look a little bit when being worn. Besides actually filling it, one of the most obvious tell signs between the two fabrics is how the pants sits on the body. With dry skin, it doesn't crease as much and flows smoothly, while with the encapsulated nylon on the other hand, it has much more aggressive creases when it's being worn. In terms of feel in hand, I would give the edge towards dry skin as it does have a softer and silkier texture that feels great on the skin, while the encapsulated nylon has a much more rigid and stiff feeling. Another major difference is something that a lot of you might not even think about, which is the noise level of both fabrics. The DS seems to be pretty silent when you are walking about, but I do find that the E variation is significantly significantly louder compared to the DS. Now I don't know if I can capture the audio properly, but here is a kind of sound sample between both pairs. Being that nylon fabric is a much stiffer and rigid fabric compared to DS, and with the addition of all the excess fabric being in contact with each other when walking about, it is bound to create a louder crisp sound. That being said, you will probably only notice the louder noise coming from the E variation if you are in a quieter or a very noise sensitive environment. For the most part, if I'm just out about hanging out with friends or walking in a mall, the general noise is pretty much able to drown the loudness of the fabric. And I haven't yet been in a situation whereby the loudness of the E variation is causing a nuisance. Therefore, I would say if you are a person who is very sensitive towards noise, or just will be constantly in an environment that will be much quieter, then the DS variation will be more suited for you. But for the rest of us, it's really not a major deal breaker in my opinion. With both fabrics being pretty high performance, one aspect that many would be interested in knowing is just how well the water repellency is, or just which is better. Hence, I did a pretty simple experiment to kind of see how they would perform. The experiment is very simple. I just took a piece of tissue paper and put it inside the leg opening and later proceed to pour water over the fabric and left it up for an entire minute. The test here is to see how permeable the fabric is, and for the most part both fabrics did exceptionally well here, being that they are not waterproof. After a full minute, both fabrics did manage to keep the tissue paper dry. However, with colored dry skin, there was a small spot whereby the water did manage to permeate through the fabric and wet the tissue paper, while on the other hand, the encapsulated nylon manages to keep the entire tissue paper dry, and there were no signs of water permeating through the fabric. One other thing that I have noticed is that after the fabric have been given a wipe down, the inside portion of colored dry skin is quite damp and moist over a larger surface, which is to be expected considering the inside layer functions is to absorb water and spread it around the fabric for a faster drying process. On the other hand, encapsulated nylon was pretty much bone dry with no signs of damp areas. In this sense, if there were to be any accidental splashes or exposure to liquid for a brief moment, both fabrics will be able to keep you dry as the water will just beat up and fall off the pants. However, if you do get caught out in the rain for a longer period of time, dry skin is going to be less effective in keeping water out compared to encapsulated nylon. Overall, it just comes down to what you're looking for. If maximum comfort is top on your priority list, I would give the edge towards colored dry skin. But if better weather protection is something you are looking for, then Epic's encapsulated nylon does seem to perform much better here. But do note that these differences are pretty minor, especially if we are looking at it from a very urban city environment. Whichever fabric choice you pick for your P30A, trust me, you will not be disappointed. Checking out the features and functionality of the pants, let's first start off with one aspect that many people would be interested in, which are the pockets and storage space. I think that it's something that is very synonymous within the whole techwear space, and ACRONYM has taken the pocket game to the next level. If you have yet to experience wearing a pair of pants from ACRONYM, something that they have engineered incredibly well is their pockets, as they have designed it in a way whereby if you do put something inside, it manages to distribute the weight evenly to a point whereby it doesn't feel like much. This can be actually a double-edged sword, as there were occasions whereby I could not find things inside simply because I could not locate where it was in the pants. In addition to that, on the site it's mentioned to have a total of 14 pockets, but I've only actually managed to find 12 of them, so I'm not too sure where they got the number 14. The pockets do mirror each side for the left and right, therefore it does cater for both left and right hand users. One of the biggest design changes compared with the older P30A models is with the addition of these two small pocket squares located just in front of the hand pockets. There are some people I've talked to who prefer the cleaner and more minimal look of the older version, but I personally prefer this new pocket design. Visually, it gives the pants a more utilitarian look, not that it actually needs more, but I do think it looks cooler. As for functionality wise, it's pretty small, but I do use it to store my car keys or earphones, and I find that they sit perfectly, helping me to compartmentalize everything much better. The next unique feature of the pants is the beltless design, as it has a built-in adjustable waistband. It adds this pretty cool dual strap design running down the front, and it's quite an iconic acronym look with a lot of their pants utilizing this same system. Aesthetically, it does look pretty cool with the dual strap running down, which does give it this sort of martial arts look that kind of resembles the belt on a karate or taekwondo uniform. Application wise, it does the job of a belt very well, as it is highly adjustable, and in terms of actually interacting with the system, there are a couple of ways to go about it. You can just pull the strap for a fast fastening, however I felt that it limits how much it can be tightened, and also it feels like I was putting a bit too much force and pressure on the plastic buckles. Therefore, I usually kind of manage one side at a time by unlooping the waistband to create a hole for my finger to go in, and through it I can really tighten the pants up. It also doesn't feel like I'm putting too much pressure on the plastic as well. It is a little bit slower, but I much prefer this method of fastening. Lastly, let's take a look at the removable cuff, and this is what separates the P30A from the original P30. It basically uses the same zip-off concept that can be found in a lot of hiking pants that allows you to transform a full-length pants into shorts and vice versa. This gives the wearer more flexibility to accommodate different weather conditions without having to change pants. During a hotter day, you can unzip the cuff to allow more air ventilation, and when it gets colder, you can put the cuffs on to protect your legs fully. The cuffs of the P30A is less aggressive, as it helps to cover just the remaining 1/4 area, making the pants to be full length, which will help during the cold winter days, as the cuff tapers down, creating a narrow opening to help prevent cold air from entering the pants. And that is my full review for the acronym P30A-E. This is truly my ultimate girl pair of pants, and for now, I don't see any other pair of pants that could replace this pair in my wardrobe, and that is why I just can't wait to have so much more wear out of it for this year and the many years to come. Now, if you guys are interested to see how I would personally style the P30A-E, I've released a video whereby I've showcased 5 outfits kind of ranging from different complexity levels, so if you guys are interested in it, do check it out and show it some love. Today's video is slightly longer, but I do hope you guys get a better understanding regarding the pants. Now, if you guys have any other questions regarding the P30A-E that's not already been answered in today's video, feel free to leave your questions down below in the comment section, and I will try to get back to you guys as soon as possible. If you guys did enjoy watching today's video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel or just haven't been subscribed yet, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button down below, as it really does help the channel out a long way. That's all I have for today's video. Please do stay safe out there. Until then, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.